Hello, Skelevaderites, and welcome to what is this, episode 6 of Weekly Weirdo. Really excited to have you all here. Looks like there's several of you in the chat already and several of you watching. I'm so excited. Good to see you all. Master Versal Toy Hunter Eldor, good to see you. Skyfall, good to see you. Fantastic. Glad you're all here. Julia, thanks for being here. Good to see you. And Bobby, good to see you. Vintage Motu, awesome. Payne's Toy Samples, excellent to see you too. And JMax77, man, so many of you, like, this is so great to see you all here. I'm really excited about today's episode. First of all, I want to say that I talked about a little bit about what I'm going to be talking about today already, because we this morning we recorded episode 3 of the Cambridge and with Sean podcast. So I went deep on my own personal history with Masters of the Universe this morning on Cambridge and with Sean. That episode will launch early March. And if you haven't yet, please go on to Spreaker, where you can find or you can just anywhere you can find your podcasts, actually. weirdingwaymedia.com is also a place where you can find it. But Cambridge and with Sean podcast episode 2 launched at the beginning of this month. And so hope you'll all tune into that. I talk a lot about Gremlins, and I also talk a little bit about the Batman '89 Tim Burton movie, which was a huge obsession of mine as a kid. But man, everybody's here. We got Duchess here. Good to see you. So as I've already said, I've already kind of given it away today. I am jumping back into Masters of the Universe for today's Weekly Weirdo. And I'm really excited about this particular figure. Every once in a while during my Weekly Weirdo episodes, I will be diving deep with a particular character that I've invested a lot of energy and time and love into having as part of my life and part of my toy collection. So cheers to that. I'm excited about today's discussion. All right. Oh, hey, sorry I missed you, Elf Inflict. I'm so sorry I missed you. Good to see you here. Man, it's so great to see you all. So today I'm going to start off. This is actually part 1 of this particular figure, because there are 2 different. I'm going to be talking about this figure later on too, in a different, within a different, slightly different context in a future episode of Weekly Weirdo. Yeah, I do. You know what? I highly recommend Bubbly Bounce Blood Orange Grapefruit Caffeinated Sparkling Water. This is my drink of choice. Bubbly, if you want to sponsor Skelevader, I support you. Every single episode of Toy Frenzy and Weekly Weirdo, or sometimes Weekly Weirdo, I like to have my Bubbly. That's right, J-Mac. Okay, so no more messing around. I'm going to get right into it. So this morning I wasn't sure about who I would talk about today. I kind of, it's probably a bad characteristic. I leave things to the last minute sometimes. But I also feel like especially with Weekly Weirdo, it really allows me to think sort of on my feet about like what's at hand, what should I talk about. And so because a lot of my collection is stuff that I definitely want to keep around. When I do decide on someone, one of these characters, I've already got knowledge about that character's background a little bit, and I deeply enjoy the character. So today we are going to talk about Beastman. Now, I'm showing this off because this came with Orko, the vintage Orko. This is like part of a magic trick that came with Orko. Beastman's face right there. This is the same art or similar art that appeared as part of the card back later on. For this particular character, and I didn't have. I don't know. I must have. I had a vintage Orko when I was a kid, but I don't recall having this. Maybe some of you know. Did this come with some and not all Orkos? But I got this in a trade with Mike Alexander. If you watch my videos, you saw me talk about that trade. And I'm stoked to have it just because I love that illustrative design of Beastman. But I'm pointing that out first because that's what made me, that illustration is what made me fall in love with Beastman early on, that card back art, because I was never able to find Beastman in the stores. Never got Beastman as a gift. Many of you know, the first figure I got was from Wave 2, so that was Trapjaw. And so I jumped into Masters of the Universe heavily in 1983. And I know the cartoon started in 83, but I didn't start watching the cartoon until later on, maybe even late 83, early 84, when I would see it on the TV at my babysitter's house. Babysitter. So when I got Trapjaw and I got few characters from that line from Wave 2, for real quick, came with all Orko figs. Thank you, Bobby. That's good to know. I don't recall having this. I must have just not cared about it as a kid, and maybe I don't know what I did with it. You never know what you do with these things as a kid. Captain Biscuit 71, good to see you. Welcome to it. Did I miss anybody? Good. Doesn't look like I did. Awesome. So I don't know what happened to that, but I'm showing that mainly because I love the design of Beastman on the card back, and I was never able to find him in the store. In fact, my very first vintage Beastman action figure I got on eBay about 3 years ago. And that is this guy right here. 3 years ago, you could get pretty decent figures. His whip is a little bit frayed, as you can see here, but he comes with his whip, and all of his armor and everything, and the paint applications on his face are in pretty good shape. Back when you could get stuff like this for, I think I got him for $5 on eBay. I'm sure the person that sold it to me is kicking himself because he's like, oh, I could have sold it for a lot more today. But I finally got my own vintage Beastman not too long ago, and it's great to have the vintage figure in hand finally after all this time. Now I was so obsessed with his design, his colors, the color of his face, his orange and his red and his blue, Motu undies, all that. As a kid, I was just like daydream about, Beastman, a Beastman costume, right? Or getting a whip. I mean, I would think about this character, even though I didn't have him in my collection. Yeah, thank you. And then finally, I did get him. Previous to getting this particular Beastman, there were a few versions of Beastman that I did get. So when the Filmation style Beastman came up for sale on, I believe it was through Mattel's website, I remember waiting for this for one of my first experiences waiting for the order, because it would launch, and just like we're doing right now on Mattel Creations. And I got this guy, and I was super excited. He was the first of my Filmation style figures to get. I ended up getting all the baddies in Filmation style, even as they continued into Super 7. Most of them, I should say most of them. I've got the core baddies, even Clawful, which I think is moving into sort of the less core baddies. But I love this figure. I really, as a kid, so let me back up. As a kid, and falling in love with the card back art, falling in love with the Beastman in the mini comics as well. That's right, Bobby. Beastman is one of the best in all his renditions, honestly, for sure. But when I was a kid and seeing him in the mini comics, and then seeing him on the card back art, and seeing images of the action figure, or my friends with the action figure, when I finally did get around to watching the cartoon, I was like, it just doesn't, it's not doing it for me at first. And then I grew to love that particular Beastman. So it's great for those of you that are lifelong devotees to the Masters of the Universe line, having a Beastman that represents what we didn't get in action figure form, and also what the action figure didn't give us from the cartoon. We've got this, like, finally have this version, the cartoon version of Beastman. I still, to this day, have not yet seen a Beastman that is exactly what I want to see, which is Beastman's action figure design. 2000X didn't quite get that face. I thought for sure Revelation would give us the Beastman face, because it's, they were talking about how that show would really be an homage to our playtime with the action figures, which it ended up being. But even then, the face is not quite Beastman. The Beastman in the CGI cartoon, not quite the action figure Beastman. Let's see here. Here, Eldor. Yes, you got him along with Man at Arms and Evil Lyn as a fellow, and was selling them for the lot, mint on card, so that completed your way one. Okay, good, awesome. Okay, yeah, maybe that's why I stumbled over that. Alpha Inflict, love the vintage Beastman, how his mouth is open, growl, and Origin is clenched teeth face. I prefer the vintage face. I like the Origin clenched teeth face. I do, I like it, but I'm with you, Alf. I do prefer the open mouth. I'm going to bring in Origins here. I do prefer the open mouth to the closed mouth. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. So Origins gets pretty close to the vintage design, definitely capturing the nose, definitely capturing the eyes and the paint application on the face. But as you know, they gave us the clenched jaw. I still love this figure. I still do. It's not quite the same. The colors are slightly different, brighter and more subdued. At the same time, his armor is more subdued. But the orange is definitely brighter, and the blue is brighter too. Love that. But still haven't seen Beastman from the mini comics or Beastman in action figure form in any cartoon, and I really want to see that. Am I wrong, folks? Is there one that I'm not remembering? I wanted to see that in 2000X Mike Young Productions. I wanted to see it in Revelation, but still have not seen them or seen that happen. So speaking of mini comics, it took me a while to get this guy. Finally got him in a trade with Mike Alexander, and you've seen it on my videos, I think. If you've watched those particular episodes where I've talked about trades. Okay, Eldor is correcting himself. The Origins Beastman. Okay, good. And Radical Toys, welcome to it. Great to see you. You love the Club Grayskull figs, but you missed out on them, sadly. I know. Well, I missed out on classics. I mean, I have a couple of classics that I bought later on down the line, but I missed out on those. But I am happy to have the Club Grayskull classics Filmation villains. So I do feel fortunate to have those. Now, the mini comic coloration of the first appearance of Beastman in reaction style. I never could get the classics version of this, but when I did see he was available from reaction through Super 7, I definitely wanted to get this. Funny story, we took our first trip to the Super 7 store in San Francisco. We went on New Year's Day. First mistake, right? Don't expect to go to a store on New Year's Day. We went on New Year's Day, what was that, 3 years ago? Pre-pandemic, so New Year's Day 3 years ago, I guess. And I called even the day ahead of time, and the hours said that they would be open, so we were real excited. It was great to go on New Year's Day to San Francisco because the city was very quiet. We get to the store. It was like that moment in Vacation with Chevy Chase where they show up at Wally World and it's closed. I had that moment peeking in through the window. This was one of the figures I was hoping to find, and when I peeked in through the window, there it was on the wall. And so then I missed out on that. Literally a couple months later, when I started to go online and look to try and find this guy at a reasonable price, it was not happening. So I finally was able to get him as a trade. I absolutely am a huge fan of the reaction style Masters of the Universe figures. I know there are mixed feelings on this, but I love the way Beastman looks in this style. And I did get the normal Beastman, and I have this now. I just love the face on this guy. A little bit derpy. God, I love it. And the black and white version of Beastman 2, which I love as well. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. Radical Toys. I wish Mattel would do a cartoon strictly based on the older mini comics. Gosh, me too. Absolutely. Sean Scavarna from Legends of Grayskull podcast. I know he shares the same feelings. I know several of you watching right now share that same feeling. In fact, it's come up in discussion on Toy Frenzy too. I would really love to see the movie refer to the mini comics that they're working on right now. I know it's not going to happen. I can't get my hopes up. That's definitely not going to happen. It's too barbaric, for today's audience, I suppose. But yeah, I would love a cartoon based on the mini comics as well. Elf Inflict. I literally just bought me a second Masterverse Deluxe Beastman yesterday. Found a sealed one at your local flea market for $12. Awesome. I have been seeing the Masterverse Deluxe Beastman figures showing up at Targets, clearanced out. The clearance price isn't fantastic. It's not much of a discount from the normal price, but I am seeing them. And I do have a feeling that those will be going down in price. So if you haven't got yourselves a Masterverse Deluxe Beastman from the new Eternia line of Masterverse, definitely get that. I'm not talking about him today because that's something else I want to bring up in a future episode of Weekly Weirdo. Your Dragon Walker in the background case is operational. Yes, it is actually. So funny story about that. I was looking online to get a Dragon Walker. I found one on eBay, and this guy was selling it for dirt cheap. And it said it worked. I didn't believe that it would work because it was ridiculously affordable. I got him for about $15 with free shipping. So unbelievable deal. Every once in a while on eBay, folks, you're going to find things that are just out of this world. Like maybe they don't know what they have and they're selling it. Got it home. I cleaned out the battery case, or where you put the batteries, and cleaned it out because there was some acid from previous batteries. Brushed it up, cleaned it out, put in new batteries, and it worked. And I'm stoked. Yeah. Thank you, Radical Toys, for noticing that. Yes, it's one of my treasured items back there. Alpha Inflict, I love that figure. A lot of people don't really appreciate the sculpt. I appreciate the sculpt as well. We're definitely going to be talking about the new Eternia line later on Weekly Weirdo here. Yeah, I agree with you, Captain Biscuit 71. All right. So, also in a trade with Mike Alexander, I got this little guy. I still have not taken the time to research where exactly he comes from, but I love this. He's not a muscle. I do have a muscle Beastman, MoTussle, that Super 7 put out in a lavender color variant. This is not that. This is hard plastic. I'm pretty sure it's one of the, probably a game, one of the games from the 80s, or something like that. I haven't figured it out yet. Yeah, let's see here. Use the lithium batteries. They don't leak. Most expensive, but save your toys. Absolutely. In fact, I don't have the batteries in there. I'll only put the batteries in when I decide to play with them. In fact, I did the same thing with my Snake Mountain. The microphone works on that vintage Snake Mountain that I got a few months back, but I do not keep the batteries in, or the battery in the little compartment. But yes, absolutely. Lithium batteries, folks. Oh, really? So, Radical Toys. Yeah, I could have been. You couldn't believe that you scored Classics King Hiss cheap recently. That's amazing. That's cool. I did see on Amazon that there's been a few listings of Classics figures new in box for pretty good prices. You know, not highly sought after characters, but still pretty good deals. Yeah, good call, Bobby. Don't keep the batteries in there, folks. But if you do, use the lithium batteries. Alpha Inflict, I have all the red Beastie in the Loyal Subjects line. He looks great in Loyal Subjects, and I beefed up my Origins Beasties gear. Yes, I'd love to see that. I like the Loyal Subjects line as well. I don't have any of those anymore. I did have some at one time. I sold them off to get some more vintage things. But I do love the style of those Loyal Subjects figures. But for me, it's the vintage design, which brings me to this big boy here. This is, for those of you that know, you all know, what am I talking about? So the 12-inch vintage style figures to come out from Mattel, just, you know, a few years back, gosh, almost 10 years now, I guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was about 10 years ago. 2013. I think 2012, 2013, something like that. But I absolutely, maybe there's a date down here. No, I didn't get any of the other ones. Honestly, I thought, you know, I would really want to get Skeletor, any of the baddies that they would release in this scale. The Skeletor face sculpt on this one wasn't quite right for me, so I didn't jump on that. I'm kind of regretting it now, but I was able to get this Beastman on sale actually through Big Bad Toy Store at a really reasonable price. Wait, we got Ozstradamus Toys here. Good to see you, Oz. I get it. Catching Weekly Weirdo and Bud's live at this on IG. Oh my gosh! And there's sports happening right now. I was kind of hoping Bud would go live a little bit later. I thought he was going to go on later, but I guess it's happening now. Bud, I'm gonna rewatch that later. I promise you. I love your lives. And Captain Biscuit 71. Wow, I've never seen the 12-inch. Yeah, this guy's beautiful. His face sculpt is amazing. Everything is just as you would want it to be. The only big difference is the toes have more definition. The vintage toes are hardly even there. These toes are definitely defined, but everything else is very, very similar to the vintage action figures. You can see even the colors, near perfect match. Oh, thanks, Oz. I appreciate it. Tell Bud I'm really sorry I couldn't watch right now. But what did? Oh yeah, Vintage Motu, Bobby. Oh, you have the 12-inch. Always wanted that one. Yeah, this guy is great. This is one of my prized figures in my collection. Love this guy. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. That's what she said, right? Hilarious. How are the legs on those 12-inch figs bands? No, they've got like a it's like a locked socket. You can undo it like that, and there is like a band in there, but it's elastic, it's not rubber, and then you can lock it in place, like that. It locks right in place, so you're not stretching that elastic band, just having it loose, and he locks in place so he doesn't flop around everywhere. He stands up. See how he's? Oh, let me just close this. See how he's standing up here? Solid. I love this figure. I did see people selling prototype heads or molds of the head as well. I think this would be great to just have like as a bottle topper, wine stopper maybe. But yeah, fantastic. So Beastman is of all action figures, Beastman's in my top 5. I would say Beastman's even closer to 1. It's always like it fluctuates for me. 1, 2, 2, and 3. They're usually 2 of those are a master's figure, and one of those is either one of the bounty hunters or Darth Vader, and it's always fluctuating. But those characters just keep coming back, keep recycling. Oh, and Jabba the Hutt too. Love Jabba the Hutt. So let's see here. So that's about it. I just wanted to share Beastman today. I'll show the Filmation Beastman again. This guy's so awesome. Look at the teeth on this guy. And that dead stare. Man, so cool. Let's see here. Alpha Inflict. That's so cool. I've been wanting the Zodak from those. He's too pricey. Beastman is my other big want from those as well. Absolutely, for sure. Beastman's great. Captain Biscuit 71, did they have a whole line of the 12-inch? No, only a partial line. They did He-Man, Skeletor, Zodak, Man-at-Arms, I think, Beastman, and I think that's it. I would have been stoked for a Merman. And like I said, I was hesitant on the Skeletor because the face was close, but just not quite right. The He-Man, I think there was a He-Man. 90% sure there was a He-Man, and I'm pretty sure it looked cool too. They're pretty expensive these days, but Beastman was the last one to be a very reasonable price. In fact, he was less than what he was new. And yeah, Bobby, yes, the Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms looked great, by the way. He looked fantastic. But the Beastman was the one I really wanted. I got him. Merman would have been fantastic. I hope that they bring him out again. I don't see why they wouldn't in the future. Maybe for the 50th anniversary? We could dream. Thanks for sharing, Skelly. I love it. Yeah, thanks, man. So Beastman's fantastic. I look forward to these every week to get to share my love of particular characters. This is one of my prized possessions. I love the red with the gold, and that's it. I mean, like, how cool is that? And I love the illustrations in the mini comics. I do want a Beastman, action figure style Beastman, to show up in a cartoon one of these days. I really want that, folks. Anybody out there thinking about taking on a project to bring Masters of the Universe characters back to life in any way, shape, or form in the future, beyond Revelation, beyond any other, the CGI. If there's some future projects coming along, we want to see this guy. We want to see this guy on the screen. Definitely. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great rest of your Sunday. If you were watching the Super Bowl, enjoy and get some rest. Be safe, be happy, and enjoy the action figures you have. Have a wonderful